Life Fixers. Hope you're having an awesome day. Are you ready to get a PhD in marriage? Well, actually, I don't know if you'll get a PhD just by listening to this episode, but you'll get some really, really good tips and you will laugh your way through this episode with our incredible couple, Kim and Kev Doupe. I am really, really excited to bring them on. But first, if you haven't taken the mindset assessment to see whether your productivity is getting in your way or helping you, then you will want to go right now. So go to lifefixuniversity.com/mindset. Take the assessment, see where your mindset is at, if it's helping you, if it's stopping you, and take the action that it tells you to do. So that way you will be headed in the right direction. Now, today's couple, I am just like pumped, like super excited to be speaking with them. They're an awesome couple. Like, understand me, I'm feeling like I'm just using very vague words because I don't know how to explain it, how like excited I am. They've got TikTok accounts with like almost 250,000 followers. And I think they deserve every single one of them because it's just so real and so honest and so much fun at the same time, which is K Doupe squared is Kevin's account, and then Kim's account is Kim Doupe. You will love them. I'm being really serious. You'll just get ready. Like if you want some good inspiration, you want to just laugh, you want to at the same time, like also grow and learn about yourself, go and follow both of them. Kate, I'll put those links in the show notes so you can go and find them. Now, thank you so much, Kevin Kim, for being here. I am super excited, like really excited to be speaking with you. You want to start by telling us how you guys met?
Oh boy. So we both have tattoos, lots of tattoos, and
they're all covered up now. It's like, what happened to you?
They are. Yeah. Well, okay. I've got a full sleeve. I've got leopard spots, if you can see. Yeah.
Just all over. I got a whole chest piece, short sleeves, trying to keep it professional because I work in the corporate world. So trying to keep it legit there. So, but things are opening up there. But anyway,
I'm a hairstylist, so I get to do whatever I want, wear whatever I want.
Yep.
That's why your hair looks so good.
That's why mine does too. So anyway, so I was a photographer on the side for several years. And did a whole bunch of things, MMA events and fashion shows and all that kind of stuff. And I was going to be doing a calendar shoot, like a new age pinup girl type shoot, where it would be like new cars, new motorcycles, stuff like that, with girls in the old pinup outfits, but like having tattoos and piercings and stuff like that, just trying to mesh the two together, and so I asked my tattoo artist, I said, do you know of anybody, she doesn't have to be a model. It doesn't have to, just has to have that look, and I can pose her however, or him, however, need be. But, I just need somebody that has that look. And I only had a couple at the time, and so a couple months later, he sends me a message and says, there's this girl I know, I've known her for a long time. She's absolutely beautiful. Hasn't done a lick of modeling, but, I think she'd be interested, so he connected us. We literally just like nonstop talking.
We just hit it off,
Yeah.
Like you hear about love at first sight and like, there was no like seeing each other. So we kind of lost that aspect of it, but
we
like
lived an hour apart.
Yeah. So we just started chatting and like, I instantly like fell in love with him. I was in love with him before I even met him in person.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I was like head over heels, and he was a little more like standoffish. Like I actually like continuously was asking him out, and he just kept telling me, no.
Usually it's like the opposite.
It is. Well, the way I look at it is, I'm a humble guy. I'm a normal run of the mill, average looking guy. I'm not ugly, but I'm not, like some chiseled hunk, So when I saw her, God, I was struck. I was absolutely smitten. And just the fact that she wanted to have my attention, like, was flattering. But then like the realist side comes in, is like, is that really what's going to happen? Like, could I actually land her?
Funny thing is, the calendar never happened.
Yeah.
Oh, it just had to happen. So cool for you guys to meet.
Yeah.
We did a couple photo shoots.
Yeah, we did.
And I think that was what really sealed the deal, is like, after probably 3 months or so of just talking online, Facebook Messenger and stuff like that, we just got to know each other so well that when we finally gotten face to face with each other, I was done.
Yeah.
I kept trying to deny it, but I was done.
How long ago was this?
2013 is when we met. But circumstances and, it just wasn't the right timing. So we actually started like dating, on Valentine's Day, actually, in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like what, a 7-year anniversary?
Our 7-year dating anniversary.
Yeah. But we lived apart the first 2 years of our relationship because we both were married before. We both have children. His are older and, like live out on their own and stuff now. But at the time, his son needed to graduate high school still. So he did the right thing and he stayed living an hour away to, allow his kid to not have to uproot and move to a different state,
It's tough enough when you have kids in a divorce, and to take away any of the familiarity that they already have. It's not what's best for them, so for me, I'm going to have my whole, future after he graduated to live or be wherever I wanted. So that 1 year or almost 2 years of making that sacrifice, did two things. I think one, it proved to my kids that they do come first because they should. Right. And then the second thing it proved is that, if we could do a 2-year long distance relationship and actually make it through that, there's not a whole lot tougher than that.
It was hard. It was so hard.
Yeah. I was like, what did you do to actually keep it together?
So it's like an hour drive to get, here or there. And,
where are you living, each of you?
So I was living in upstate New York and she lived in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Okay. And so I live about a half an hour from the New York state border. So it's like a half an hour there and then a half an hour to where he was at. And I mean, it was a lot of just hop in the car, take him coffee, go have lunch, sometimes just dinner. We would do overnights when we could. I have my kids 50% of the time. So, the weeks I didn't have the kids when I wasn't working, I tried to be up there with him as much as I could and vice versa.
Yeah.
But it was a struggle. I mean, we struggled a lot. And I think that's why we're such a strong couple now, because that was a huge hurdle for us to get over. And one thing that we did then that I think was kind of a saving grace for us is we FaceTimed all night long.
So we'd still sleep with each other,
So if I woke up in the night, I would look over and I could watch him sleeping. I'm sure that sounds corny.
Okay, no. First, you're like all night long. So I was thinking, okay, so like you're sitting there talking for hours and hours, and
we're just sleeping.
Yeah.
That is cool.
We actually do that now. Like when he has to travel for work, or if ever I go out of town for something, we still do that to this day.
Every night,
and it helps us feel close when we're not together. Like we love spending time together. We could sit on FaceTime all day and not speak, but just knowing the other person is there, it really just
you still have like that sense of like the person is together with you.
Exactly.
So like you could eat dinner together, in two different places.
Yeah, definitely.
I always related that to the kids too, because as kids become teenagers, they want less time sitting here with us, so they'll be in their bedroom playing video games, and my son would do it too. But the great part is that even though we're not spending time together, we're still in the same house, and we can sense that. I can sense that he was there in his room, and he could sense the safety that Dad was here, and it's kind of that same thing. It's just, even though we can't be together, we can still have that sense of security in being together,
So, with kids already, like giving them their space. It's like that maturity that they need.
And if someone tries to break into the house and kill me, Kevin's on the phone, so it makes me
except that he's sleeping.
Exactly what I want to say,
it's my little security blanket, Oh yeah, well, my husband, who's a gazillion hours away, he's gonna kick your ass.
Well, he'll call 911 or don't worry.
Okay. But yeah.
Okay, so how has your relationship changed all those years, like where it's today?
So I think I have changed a lot. He truly, and this too is like a cliche thing, but he truly brings out the best in me. Like he has loved me through some of the hardest things that I've gone through in my life. And I've grown so much. And I'm the best version of myself. And I didn't realize how many flaws I had, but, you know, because he's willing to love me through everything, you know, it allows me to have more confidence in who I am. And like, I truly think that if you don't have that self-worth and love for yourself, you can't truly fully give yourself to someone else. So I think I've grown a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's the same for me, you know, like we both have different struggles, clearly, you know, like with our own personal flaws and things, but just the fact that, you know, I was raised very much in the church when I was younger and went to church every Sunday and youth group every Wednesday, you know, so like I was raised in a light of forgiveness, you know, so, you know, when you have a flaw and you make a mistake, you hope that you're going to be forgiven for those mistakes. Right. And you have to do that same thing in your relationship, that nobody's perfect, you know, and if you expect that the person that you start dating is going to be the person you're going to have for the entire relationship for however long it's going to be, you're setting yourself up for failure, you know? So being able to recognize your own flaws and be vulnerable and make them known, you know, then to know that person is going to, you know, forgive you for the wrongs that you've done, or, you know, whatever it may be, or the, you know, leaving the toilet seat up too much or whatever, you know, it's like, and anything in between, you know, I mean, you just have to be able to accept that you are flawed and to know that the person that you love is going to love you through it. You know, she still rides me about the toilet seat though. But
I ride him about a lot of things. He's very, very, very forgetful.
A little bit. Just a smidge. I'm old.
He forgets to put the garbage out every Monday.
Oh, okay. So you're the one that has to do it, or the garbage is
no. If he doesn't put it out, it doesn't go out. Yeah.
It's
his punishment, like his consequence. All right.
Yep. So as far as how our relationship has changed, you know, clearly, you know, you all have that honeymoon phase. But for us, I really don't feel that has stopped yet, you know, and October will be married for 5 years, you know, today is 7 years of dating, you know, so like, anytime that work tells me I have to go away to somewhere, like I'm leaving tomorrow again to go to Indiana, and it just like crushes me, you know, like that I can't spoon with her in bed at night, or it's, you know, watch Survivor together, you know, like binge watch things together. So I still feel like, you know, we're still crushing on each other a bit.
Well, and everybody always says, oh, the honeymoon phase is over, whatever. It's not. It doesn't have to be over. Like,
you know what? You could like see it in your vibe, like the way you talk about each other and the way you're just like here together with each other. It comes across. You're like, this is not just like some fake thing that you're saying, but it's so real.
And that's what I try to always tell everybody. Like, we've always shared our life, like Facebook, now, of course, TikTok, and like, what you see is what you get with us. Like the dumb things that Kevin does, like I'm like the brunt of all of his jokes, but I freaking love him for it. And, you know,
it started with the scare cams, and like, she'd be so mad that I'd get her, but she'd be like, all right, let me see. You wanted to see how funny it was, you know, because it's funny, you know? And so, but yeah, so like in making your relationship stay in that honeymoon phase, like you have to do the extra. You can't just expect it to stay there. Like, for example, the last trip I took to Georgia for work, we love Survivor, and one day I would hope to be on Survivor, which would be awesome. I started making a video application, but we'll see where that goes. But anyway, so
you'll get there. I'm not worried.
Excellent. So one of the things that I did was I put together some immunity challenges for her. So while she was here, I hid immunity idols around the house. And each day she got to open a clue to where that immunity idol was. And then each day that she found it, then she was good to go for the next day to open the next clue. But if she didn't find it, she couldn't open the next clue. So, and then at the end, there was a nice gift of something that she wanted. So it kind of made it like, I was showing her that while I'm not here, I'm still thinking of her, and I still want her to have fun with me, even though I'm not here, you know, and that takes effort. That takes time, you know.
Yeah. I'm like thinking about the amount of work that has to go into that.
Oh my gosh.
I made each individual
I'm talking
item.
like it looked like a piece of parchment, and it was all typed out, rolled up in burlap, tied. And then each day there was an immunity necklace with shells on it. I mean, it was just the cutest thing.
Way. Yes. It's like not just like text like, hey, good morning, love you. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Real stuff.
That's good too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Right. Yeah. I'm not trying to put that down at all. Don't stop.
Yeah.
We do that too, for sure. But it's, and I don't do this every time I go away from work because gosh, that would be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But, I have another one that I've got in my mind that, that I'm going to do for one of the next trips that I go away. But, it's going to take a little effort on my part. But that's the thing though, is I have to have that effort put out, in order for it to happen. And she has to do the same thing in the things that she does for me, so if you just expect that the honeymoon's going to stay just because you exist, it's not. It's really not. So
it's like a full-time job to
but a job you love.
Yes. To stay 100% committed at all times, it's not, I always say like, a marriage shouldn't be a full-time job, but in this sense, it should be, because if you ever just you slack off with it, your relationship's going to slack too. So you just,
So it's a long answer to your short question.
But it's a really, really good answer. I think it's like, you can't just expect it to stay like that if you're not doing your part to make it that. Exactly. So when you are working so hard to make these like literal treasure hunts, it's like,
it was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing. Yeah. And like, I feel like I've lost my romanticism because he like is up here. And so I'm always like, how do I compete with that? So I'm sort of like, but I try
raising the bar.
Yeah. So I try to do other things to, to make up.
We both do things for each other constantly, whether it's little or large, and that's really what matters. She hasn't opened a car door for herself since we've been together. Like I refuse to let her open her own car door unless everybody's carrying a whole bunch of stuff or whatever.
But it doesn't matter if we're in our driveway, if we're out to dinner, like it doesn't matter where we are. He'll like, if sometimes I forget and I just go to open the door and he will lock the door.
So she can't.
So I can't get in. So he open the door.
I always have my finger on that button just in case she forgets that she married.
But we still we love to go on dates and, it's like, it's just a huge part of who we are. We love to explore and do different things. And we're always
life is like never boring. There's just like such a good energy.
How can you be married to Kevin and have a boring life? Come on. I mean, let's get real.
I like that.
I know, but it goes both ways. So
it does.
It's part of you too.
We just mesh so well together. So
yeah. Now I'm curious if, because of your previous marriages and your previous like experience, it affected like the way you came into this relationship.
Sure. 100%.
How could it not? How could it not?
So he had been divorced for 17 years when I met him, and he had been dating and all of that stuff. So, he hadn't been in a committed, marriage type relationship for a long time. And I had just come out of a marriage and,
like really shortly before we got together.
Yeah. So, and, I still to this day feel like I was trying to be someone that I wasn't in my previous marriage. He was a lot different than I was. He was a very conservative person, and I'm a little more like wild and crazy. I'm like, I'm definitely a free spirit. I'm very like high strung and, whatever, but,
and a lot more interesting.
Yes, way more.
So when I met Kevin, people that knew me before I was with my ex-husband and then during my marriage, and then now, people still to this day say like, you're back, like this is the Kim that we always knew was there, and so I say, he brought me back to life, because I kind of lost. Sorry. I lost myself. And so it took finding someone that appreciates who I am, to really bring me out of my shell. And like, now I'm living the best life I could possibly imagine. So,
and I don't want her to be something she's not, I mean, she's an amazing woman. She's smart. She's owned a hair salon for several years. She's, been in the business for a very long time. And, she's a loving mom. She's a loving wife, I don't want her to be anything that she's not. And I don't want to put her in a box, and I feel that that's where she was at in her first marriage, is that he had this idea of what his ideal wife looked like. and she didn't fit that.
And there's nothing wrong with someone wanting that in a wife or a husband, wanting them to fit this mold. I just didn't fit it. And I was I always explain it as if there was this like circle mold of who he wanted to, his wife to fit in. And I was like this square that like, I was trying to force myself to be a circle. And I just, look, I'm like doing an analogy. Like I always yell at Kevin because he does analogies for everything. Try dealing with that when you're having a fight. I'm like, enough with the analogies.
Yeah, that makes sense. But who cares?
But
leave me alone.
But I think that describes the best way. And so like now I'm a square and I'm not necessarily fitting in a square box. I'm fitting, into whatever box I want to be in. And he just lets me be me. And
that box changes, for a while it's a square box, then it's a cylinder box, and it's like, we're people and we're growing and we're evolving, and I think society is showing us that big time these days, so to say that you're a square and you're a box and that's what you have to be for the rest of it, that's just boring. Evolve into who you're going to be and let each other do that, so on my side, as far as my previous relationships and what they've taught me about how to be good for her, is that I think, and this goes for relationships, this goes for, work, this goes for, I'm a soccer coach. So like, coaching kids, like you can't do something right until you've been shown the wrong way. Right. So like, if you're doing it the wrong way and you constantly keep doing it the wrong way, you're going to get really good at being really bad. So if you treat a woman in a certain way and that's not the way she wants to be treated, like you're going to get really good at treating her like crap, and that's not okay. So I have to say something and then she can be like, what, it really kind of bugged me that you said that. And it just happened the other day, and I have to take that lesson myself and be humble enough to know that I made a mistake. Going back to that, thing again, and I learned that also in previous relationships where you figure out what it is that you want or don't want in a significant other. And you can also see how you act and how that affects another person and know whether or not that's a good way to be or a bad way to be, and being strong enough to actually change that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, and if I'm striving for perfection, I'm going to fail. So as long as I progress and get into a better position than I am today, tomorrow, then that's really all that matters, and that's what all my previous relationships taught me, is that you have to better yourself all the time, so. Yeah.
And stay true to who you are at all times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love that. Now, just going back to like the not changing part, Kevin, you obviously, I don't know if have easier or worked on it more of like not trying to change Kim, like you understand who she is, but someone who like gets this, they understand it intellectually and they don't really want to change their partner. It's not something that like their intention of doing, but sometimes they just do something that irks them, or they're like something that's annoying. What like advice would you give to them so they don't fall into the trap of like trying to change them?
Sure. I think, a lot of the videos on our TikToks, you're going to see it. She's got a smile on her face. And to me, that's a gauge of how I'm doing. Because like if she's not smiling because of how I'm acting, then I'm doing something wrong, like everything's not laughter and giggles, in life. No. But for the most part, if you're doing something and it makes her smile, then that is to me a sign that I'm doing something right. So I think that the best advice I could give is to be perceptive of your significant other. And one of the TikToks that I just did recently, which is the new theme that I'm doing of treating a lady right, it was to get a PhD in your woman. So I study her. And if I was ever get a test at a PhD level, I'm going to pass that.
He knows me better than I know myself. I swear. And you cannot play Battle of the Sexes with this one because he knows way too much about women things because he pays so much attention.
But that's what that makes a difference. Like she recognizes that, and the fact that
I appreciate that so much.
She knows that I pay attention to her. That tells her that I'm listening, and I'm not just listening to get her to finish speaking. It's to hear what she has to say. Do I always like it? No, and so that's another piece of advice that I would give is to know that you're not going to like everything that's being put back to you from what you do or say or act, but you have to accept it. and you have to use that as a tool. You collect all these tools and how she's reacting physically, how she's responding verbally, and you have to put all these tools in your toolbox. And then when that situation arises again, you have to pull out the right tool and use it the right way this time, if that makes sense.
So we are very, very open when it comes to communication. Almost to a fault is the way I like explain it, because like, I don't hide anything. I don't, if something's bothering me, I don't just like tuck it away. Like, I have to present it to him and we have to kind of work through it. When we
same vice versa too.
Yeah. But like, if we have a fight, we like kind of go around and around and around and around. And then we're just like, all right, this is stupid. Let's just move on from it, because we talk too much. Like, we just keep talking and talking and talking. And sometimes you just have to be like, all right, come on, let's just move along, so. Yeah.
And when she says she's completely open with everything, and I am too, literally the only thing that we don't do is we're not in the bathroom with each other when the other person's going to the bathroom. That's the only thing that we don't fart
or like do any of that stuff, which people think is so like crazy. They're like, you don't fart in front of each other. But that's like that sense of privacy. Yeah. Right. So he's like, I don't want to just be like farting all the time and burping all the time. So
I see it as like a respect for each other.
It is. It very much is.
Yeah,
so.
If you do that around your buddies or you do it when you're knock yourself out. But I want her to see me in a way that I see her. And if I'm just being a slob and a pig, then, it's not going to work. It's not going to keep her smile on her face.
And I, as a woman, can appreciate that, because most guys are not like that, And, I'm not judging people who are that comfortable. I mean, we are so comfortable with each other. Like, there is nothing we haven't like said or seen or, whatever, just because we are so open. But it's just nice to have.
Yeah. It's not from like a comfortable place, but like,
it's not.
Really, yeah.
I think you said it right. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you mentioned the fact that like you fight, because like first I was like listening to it, it's like, you guys are just like so awesome. There's like nothing wrong with you and everything's just so perfect. But yeah, you do fight and you're still humans.
Sure. We've been through some stuff, some pretty hardcore, tough relationship stuff. And, each time we, it's tough, but we work through it. And, we know that each other is worth it. Like, he is worth everything, to me. So, if he makes a mistake, I forgive him and vice versa.
No, of course you have to give yourself the time to be pissed off.
Absolutely. Oh, so, I get pissed. I'm a chick. Yes, I get pissed. I'm not going to say I don't, but our line of communication is always open. So you just talk through it.
Yeah. And a lot of our fights were back when we lived an hour apart from each other. Cause it was just, like wanting to do something or not being able to talk together and just whatever the situation was that made it hard. Like, it just got us kind of frustrated, and the frustration, when you're frustrated as an individual and you have a significant other, it's easy just to open it up and pour it all over them, and that's tough, for not just the person who's opening up, but for the person who's receiving it, because they can't do anything about it most times, because it's a work situation or a life at school or whatever, but it's just one of those things that you have to have that person you can vent to and know that they're still going to be there and love you for it, so.
Yeah.
So fights these days are a lot less.
Yeah.
It's because we don't live an hour apart now. And,
but typically if we fight, it's because my kids don't like to eat normal food. And he's like sit there until you eat it. And I'm like, my mom never made me eat things that I didn't like,
But I, in my defense, she's also the one, just grab a bag of chips.
Oh,
no, he hasn't had
Kevin.
dinner yet.
No, I don't. Keep going.
I was just about to ask you, like you said, Kev, you said before that, like how you put your son first and made sure your kids know first. What has, now that you're married and your kids are still with you 50-50?
Mine are, they're 13 and 11. I have 2 boys.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So then like, how has that played like into your relationship and affected your marriage?
So in the beginning, my kids were young when we started dating.
3 and 5.
And my oldest son worships the ground his dad walks on. So, and my youngest son, he's more like me. He's very just like kind of off the wall and crazy, carefree,
but loving,
yeah,
cuddly.
So he took to Kevin right away, and Kevin is so loving. And so like, you just feel so secure with him because he's not afraid to let you know like how much he cares for you. So my youngest son really took to that and, looks up to him and kind of always has. Whereas my older son has been a little more standoffish. And I think some of it is he doesn't want to disappoint his dad, like he doesn't want to have that love for Kevin because he has that love for his dad and he should.
And he feels like he might be insulting his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really like coming from the kid's perspective, it's a really challenging place to be in.
It is. And I don't come from a divorced family and neither does Kevin. Yeah. So that dynamic for me was hard to understand. Like, why don't they just love him? They know that I love him, but I've learned and I've grown, with that. And, so right at this point, I think they have the best of both worlds. Their dad married an awesome woman who I love. I think she's great. She's great for my ex-husband.
Yeah, she's that circle like that.
Yes, she is. She really is.
Ideal circle.
She is. And but my kids love her. She's the total opposite of me. And Kevin is very much the total opposite of my ex-husband. So they're getting the best of both worlds. And I think it's all worked out for the best. I still hate to this day that my kids come from a divorced family because I never had that. And, but they really can have a really great life coming from a divorced family. And, now they have a new family and they've got older brother and sisters that love them to death. And, so it's been a journey. It's been a challenge at times, but it's been a learning process, I think, for them as much as us. Yeah. So,
and to kind of even bring that out to my kids too, like, even though they're adults, when we first got together, they were, so let's see. So I was
Courtney was like 18,
ago, so 18. And so must be like 16 and 18.
Yeah.
So our kids are identical. Like my oldest and her oldest are the same, cut and dry, no frills mentality, like not a very emotional person. And our youngest are the lovey-dovey. Like my son, I swear to you, I coached his travel soccer team all through high school. And he, in front of his friends or on the phone, when his friends were there, he'd say, "I love you, Dad." No question, no hesitation. Like I wouldn't have to say it first. Sometimes he'd say it first, in front of his friends, so like that's the kind of, her youngest is the same way, just is open to that lovingness, So my daughter, being the more, bullheaded and stubborn one, it's like her oldest, my bachelor party weekend, we went up to the Adirondacks in New York, and all my friends and her boyfriend and everybody, my wedding party got a cabin on a lake and just, fishing and swimming and just, lots of drinking, and just had a good time. And she did everything. My daughter did everything in her power to ruin it. And she, and her boyfriend was so uncomfortable because he knew what she was doing and why she was doing it, but like knew that it was so wrong, and what it ended up boiling down to was that every girl that I had dated since their mom, like they didn't even know more than 90% of the girls that I had dates with, they didn't even know them, because if you weren't going to be around for a while, I don't want you to know my kids, and so, so the ones that they did meet, she could always sense that it was not, bells and whistles and, lavender and lace and, just all that lovey-doveyness, and
lavender and lace.
It just reminded me of a Fleetwood Mac song. But I don't know. I'm a musician too. But when I met her,
is there something that you don't do?
No, there's not. Honestly, he has done so many things. And there's this one song, I can't remember what it is, but it's basically saying like, I want to do it all.
Yeah.
I want to do everything. And and he's great at everything. And I'm just not tooting his horn because he's my husband and I'm obsessed with him. Like he truly he can do it all. Like,
I think he like really puts his heart into whatever he does.
100%.
So
the songs I've done, I've done it all by Imagine Dragons. You have to look it up. It's so true. I just want to try everything, and I'm close. But anyway, so
back to what you're saying.
so when I met her and we started dating, she immediately knew that it was different. And the problem is that she went from being the number one girl in my life because she knew that I always put her before any girl that I was with, and my son too. And then now to see that there's somebody that just is so extremely right that it kind of tore at her heart, you know, and I get that. But at the same token, she handled it all the wrong way. You know, she tried to put a wedge between us rather than to be happy.
Yeah, she came right out and said, like, I don't want you to marry her.
Yeah.
She almost didn't come to our wedding. Like that was by far the hardest time in our relationship, way harder than the, the distance stuff. Like it was so hard. And I just, I had never had stepkids before, so I didn't really know how to be like a stepmom role,
Like
so
she's also older, like you're not here to boss her.
Exactly. And I just wanted to be her friend, so that was hard.
That was come around though.
Yeah,
things are a lot better with her.
Oh yeah.
They come down for all the holidays and just, whenever, just for fun or whatever. And things are really great. And my son just never changed, he loves
He's not a confrontational person. He just kind of like, whatever. I don't want to know what's going on with that.
Yeah. So. If he gets into a tiff with somebody, it's serious, because he is not one to get in an argument or fight about anything. So that's kind of both sides for the kids, so.
Cool. Wow. It really plays like a really big part that I don't know if you were lucky or what the right word is, the challenges that you had with it, that most people who don't have kids, right, when they get married, like another dimension, I guess, really to a relationship that added both good and bad, but ultimately like made your relationship a lot stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the fact that was just yet another storm that we weathered, like it kind of plays a big part in the legacy that we're giving to our kids about relationships, because when I was married to their mom, it wasn't great. And when she was married to their dad, it wasn't great, and it's like, I want my kids and her kids to see what it is to be in love and to treat each other with respect, and so it's when you do the right things, you're sending not just a message. I'm not sending a message just to her, but I'm sending it to her boys. When I smooch her or smack her on the butt, or whatever, just show her that, affection. It's like that. It's okay to be in love and have some PDA, and appropriately, of course, but
and my take on that is their dad wasn't an overly affectionate kind of a husband, which that's great for some people. And, I hope that works for his new marriage, but I'm hoping they find a happy medium between their dad and the way he has a relationship and me and the way I have a relationship. And I just hope that both of them somehow fall in the middle and kind of create their own.
Exactly. What works for them, right?
Yes.
Different relationships. Hopefully yours is amazing. And I don't know your ex-husband's, but I'm hoping it also is amazing. And then they could like see, okay, there's different ways. It's not like especially one right way.
Right.
Exactly. No way is the right way. You have to find what works for you. And, I think somewhere in the middle is a pretty average relationship, and it can be whatever they want it to be. Exactly. So they're getting all the right tools, I guess, to be.
And it gives them both options, like they see how to be in a relationship that is still loving, but not outwardly, but they also see an option of having that love, but also expressing it outwardly, and
very outwardly, like all over.
So if they want one or the other, that's great. But like you guys are saying, if it's somewhere in the middle, then that's fine too, so it's good to have options in life.
It is.
100%. Yeah. Okay. So before we get to our final question, where could we connect with you and learn more about you?
Oh boy. So really honestly, like right now, TikTok has really been our thing.
That's our main platform.
Guys, if you're not following them yet, go to
right. Yeah. At K Doupe squared.
Yeah. So
on TikTok. So that started out kind of funny that, I would post our scare cams onto Facebook and stuff just for our friends. And for some reason, I never deleted them. I always saved them on like an external hard drive. I save, because I'm a former photographer, I save pictures and videos and just memories. I have a hard drive full of memories. And so when I would do these scare cams, I would save them. And then one day, it was about a year ago, it was last January, she said to me, you should put those scare cams out on that TikTok app. I'm like, all right, why not? The second video I posted had like 20,000 views, and then just like things just kind of skyrocketed. Within a month and a half, I got on the creator fund. So at that point on, we've been getting paid from TikTok to post content. And I ran out of scare cam videos. So
he had to do something else.
Had to branch out. I've branched out to several different things, it's just, but it's always about us, and it's real life. It's nothing set up. There's a lot of couples,
set up anything.
Lots of couples on TikTok that kind of have a script and set things up to, and then they play it out. 17 takes later, they have a video to post. And it's just, it's all natural. It's organic. And it's
you could tell when you watch your TikToks.
He just did a scare cam or a joke, a knock joke or something.
I'm working on dad jokes now.
Yeah. Which are awful.
Yes, they are.
I love your expressions in that. They're like another one.
That's what makes it great is it's my tomfoolery and her beauty and reactions. It's the perfect combination for the algorithm.
But we were out thrift shopping, which is what I love. And he did this one, and I was like, such and such who, because it was a knock joke, and he was like, I don't remember the punchline, but he still posted it anyway, rather than like redoing it to make it perfect, because that's what makes it fun. And that's what makes it real life. And, that's.
Yeah. So since mine is blown up and we're at just under 250,000 followers now, which blows my mind. We decided that, because it's my smart aleck sense of humor that it's really driving the content, right? So, but she's got a lot to offer too, more than just a pretty face and a reaction, right? So she started to actually use her TikTok, and she's at the point where she's almost where she's going to be joining the creator fund too. But she's doing a lot of like thrift shopping and makeup and hair and outfits and stuff like that to kind of work more towards the girl side of things. And which
I cannot figure this out because everything I post is like, I don't do like sexy things and stuff like that. Like what you see is what you get. I post myself in the morning with like the craziest bedhead you could possibly imagine, zits all over my face. And I try to be as real as we are on his page, like I don't set stuff up or anything either. And my female following is so small. It's like, I've got like 12% of my followers are women. And I'm like, what do I have to do? Like, and
mine's 15.
So I'm still working on that and trying to figure it out. But like, I just do it for fun. Like he's the money maker. He, whatever. I'm not trying to make $1 million on TikTok. I'm not trying to quit my job and just be a creator. But it's just fun. And I love hair and makeup and outfits. And, everyone always comments on my outfits, and 100% of what I own in my home and what I wear is thrifted.
So cool.
Or secondhand.
Yeah. Secondhand. Yeah.
Salvation Army to Goodwill to, Poshmark.
Yeah. And I love sharing that with everybody, because you can have great style and great home decor and stuff without spending, crazy amounts of money. I haven't bought something brand new from a store since I got divorced back in, 2015. So, I don't know. I love it too.
Yeah. So that's,
you do look gorgeous. So
she does, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's how people can, learn more about us is through our TikTok pages. Mine's K Doupe squared and hers is Kim Doupe. And, feel free to follow, we like to engage with as many people as possible. For sure. I've made a few friends on there, a couple of verified users that have actually reached out to me and said, I love your non-scripted setup. It's great. And, Rick Devins from Survivor, love it. He's a friend of mine on there too. Shout out to you, Rick. And so, it's been a great way to just connect with a greater audience. We live in a small town in Northeast PA. And so it kind of just opens us up to the world. We've got followers in Germany and Italy and Canada and Mexico and the UK. And it's just, it blows my mind.
But it's so neat to interact with people that you've never met before. Sure. And, people are finding a connection to us, like everyone's like, you're one of my favorite TikTok couples. And, we
really are.
we just have so much love to give, and we just want everyone to feel that. And,
sure.
And, I always say that I think everyone at one point in their life should be able to feel as much love as I do from Kevin and vice versa, you know, because it's just a feeling unlike anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Okay. Final question. One that I ask everyone.
Okay.
Is how would you describe an extraordinary relationship without using love, trust, or connection?
Honesty. Honesty is the best policy. And I know that's cliche to say, but if you're not, and I don't, let me be clear, I'm not talking about just being honest with her. It's being honest with myself. Right. And I think that part of our relationship coming together where my hesitation lied is I wasn't being honest with myself, or I was trying to be too honest with myself. And can I get this girl? You know, she's like, you know, very clear that she wanted to be with me and she wanted to be in a relationship with me, but I wasn't being honest with myself that I could be that person that could have a wonderful relationship with a woman like her, you know. And yes, it does mean you have to be honest with each other. So I have to be open and honest with her. And again, going back to, if I make a mistake, I have to be honest and tell her, you know, if we get into a fight, I'm the first one to say, you know what, I was wrong. You're right. You know,
I struggle with that a little bit.
So, you know, and then it even branches out even further than that. So I'm honest with myself. I'm honest with her, but I have to be honest with everybody that knows us, you know. So again, that format of our TikTok is honesty. It's not fake. It's not set up, because if people meet us out in the real world, like, I'm not that person if it's all set up. It's not honest, you know. And again, with the kids, you have to be honest with your kids so that they know that they can trust you, you know, and that's huge in a relationship with your children. So, you know, and going to work, you know, you have to be honest with your employer and honest with your coworkers. So I think the best key for, in my opinion, for relationships is about honesty. Since you wouldn't let me use love, I'm not going to hold that against you. Just being honest.
And I don't know if my answer is like correctly answering the question, but
there's no like right way to answer it.
So self-love by far is, to me, the best way to have the most successful relationship, because like I said, I've struggled with that my entire life. I've always been judged by girls. I've never, ever, not once in my life been asked out by a guy. Never once. Every prom date I had, I asked out, and any boyfriend, any, you know, whatever. And you know, that does something to you, you know, those create scars that, you know, kind of last a lifetime, and those scars are never going to go away, but I've found a way to kind of start healing them from the inside out. And being with Kevin is truly what has allowed me to start to love myself, you know. And like I said earlier, if you don't love yourself, how are you going to be a great wife, a great mom, a great friend, a great daughter, granddaughter, you know, whatever. So, you know, you definitely have to love yourself first before you can truly give love to anybody else.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's, you know, I mean, in the medical field, you know, because, you know, why not tell you I done
he was an EMT too.
I was an EMT for years. And
what do you do now that you travel sometimes? What do you do now? I didn't catch that part.
I'm a human resources operations manager. So I just go site to site to fix HR problems. So as an EMT, one of the things we were taught is you have to care for yourself first, because if you don't care for yourself, you can't treat a patient. And then you have to care for those on your squad, on your team. And if not, then you can't help the patient. So it's the same thing. Like, if she doesn't love herself, she's not really fully going to love me. And if she doesn't fully love me, she can't love her friends, you know? And so it's the same thing, I think, you know, to say what she's saying about self-love and self-care and self-worth, you know? So, so I love
it's been a journey. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there have been lots of ups and downs to it, but I just said to him the other day, you know, we were out thrifting, of course. And I said, thank you for loving me and all my crazy ideas, you know, like, regardless of what it is, like, he's my biggest fan, biggest supporter. He'll tell me if he thinks it's a bad idea, or if, you know, whatever, you know, and I need that, the good and the bad feedback, you know? So, I'm just constantly thanking him for letting me be me. Sorry, I got all my words all twisted.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
it's so true. Yeah. You need to have like that, like the security and that self-love. Cause like, or else where's the love going to come from?
Exactly.
So
For sure.
Totally.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kev and Kim. This was so much fun. And guys, if you love this, you are going to want to follow both of them on TikTok because you're just going to love it even more. Thank you
so much for having us. This was so fun.
Yeah.
That's all for this episode of the Life Picks University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.